Hello? Hello? No, it's fine. Oh, it's not that late. We can do it right now. Let us, well, let me just think for a second so that it doesn't go through to the YouTube side. let me go find it. Wait, I haven't found it yet. 1511. You zoomed in. Where? 15. Oh, 11. Right. Okay. Good. We have a video on that too, right? So you could look through that. But no, ask. Yeah. What is your question about that? Let me ask this. Did you rewatch the video and pause and do whatever you need to do for this exercise? And did anything in the video not make sense so that we can sort of focus on where you're not sure? Because if I'm doing it now, I'll just literally repeat the video. So if you want, I can play you the video and we can watch it together. Or you can watch it and do whatever, right? And then come back for sure and say, this point, I don't know why you said this. But it's much more helpful for everyone, for me as well, if I can pinpoint where do you get stuck, which part is not sitting well, and then we can elaborate on that. Otherwise, I'm just generally talking and it's not as efficient. That is the benefit of the video. Not that I'm trying to get rid of you in any way, but it does feel a little silly to me to literally repeat the video when most of it might be totally fine. And we want to find what is the point where you're struggling, and then we can sort of elaborate on that. Yeah, I mean, we could. It's totally up to you. We have like 23 minutes. You could totally do it and then come back in the same session, or you could do it. Oh, we don't have that much time, right? Fair enough. Yeah, let's try and do it now. Let me see, what can I do here? I did this yesterday too, though I don't think anyone was actually listening. I just did it for myself. I played my own video to just see if some of those later word problems had a nice representative question. I'm looking for my video here. It's in the playlist, right? You should see it on the screen as well eventually. That's an option. You don't have to. There wasn't anything there yet. Okay, so I'm looking for, which one was that? Definitely one of the percentage ones. I guess percentages part 2. Could be. I find that unlikely. This was the reverse. Oh, yes, you're right. You are correct. Let me go back to the playlist. Yes, I think you're right. So now we just have to listen to this guy ramble on. Stupid polar bear.
Happen to have a sticker.
I wasn't sure, honestly, while you mention it. For next semester, I'm not sure. Should I maybe show myself? I can't imagine anyone want to see that. I thought the polar bear was more fun, but it makes it maybe a little bit disconnected for people. Maybe people want to see an actual person. I honestly don't know. Don't know what's best. But then when do I use the polar bear and when do I not? Then it becomes just sort of tacky, like, oh, because the benefit of the polar bear is I don't have to care what I look like, right? I just get up out of bed, just start. So there is the benefit. I never have a good hair day. That doesn't happen. So the polar bear always looks nice. I don't know, but I don't know which is best. I don't know. Anyway,
Righty.
let's see what this guy says. Oh, I need to switch him.
Let's
Hold on. You might
see.
not be able to hear him, right?
The last one in this grouping. It's a bigger one, so I definitely like to just map out the information before I start with step one.
Can you
Let's
hear
just
him
read
now?
the whole thing. A mayor notices
Yeah.
these facts. The city budget last year was 25% more than the 15 million budget of the previous year, and this year's budget is 12% more than last year's budget. So this year's budget is 37, 25 plus 12% more than the budget 2 years ago. This
Okay, so the first thing then, of course, when we do So the first thing, when we do exercises like this, I read it once and just go. But it's important, that's the benefit of a video, is to pause it and just read it as many times as you need to have an idea of what on earth is happening here. Because often they're long and reading it once is just not enough. So you let me know. I mean, we're not reading it and we have to know the answer or know exactly what to do, but just to get an idea, what are they talking about? What information are they giving me? Not how I'm going to use it, but just to get an understanding of what are they asking here before moving on. Reading it once, people, and I've seen this with kids especially. I don't know where they get this. They want to read a question, a word problem, once, and then know the answer right away. And if that doesn't happen, well, then something must be wrong with them. Math just isn't for them. Their brain doesn't work like that, or something, some excuse, right? When it's a completely unrealistic expectation. I can't read a new word problem once and know what to do. Why would anyone else? Not that I'm going to be full of myself, but with all the experience that I have, I still can't do it unless it's super easy. You have to give yourself that chance and read it as many times as you want. So I will let you just take a minute and let me know when to continue.
Okay, I think I'm good because there's one known number and that's the 15 million budget.
Right, we
And then
don't
we're
know
looking.
what the answer is, right? That's not the goal here.
No.
The goal is just to get an idea of what they're talking about. So this is a little vague in that there isn't a clear question because I'm going to discuss it. But the question is this 37% correct? Do you just add them up to see what is the overall over the 2 years from the first to the very end? Is it a change of 37%? If I look at the individual 25 and 12. So we really want to we want to assess rather, how right is this 37? Can I just add them up? What should this number be if this isn't right?
Okay.
situation. Now, I didn't actually ask a clear question here because I'm using this to discuss time
I already said that, buddy.
periods.
Come on,
So
move.
let's say I
Okay.
have last year's budget.
So now we're making a plan by just
I
sketching out
have
the information.
this year's budget,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the previous year, which is the year that came before last. The city budget last year was 25% more than the previous year. So from the previous year, I increased by 25% to last year's budget. I don't know what it is, but I know the previous year was 15 million. 15 million. And this year's budget is 12% more, so that's an increase by 12%. That doesn't even look like an N. What is wrong with me? Don't answer that.
Of course, just say stop
That,
whenever
that.
you
12%
stop.
increase, more than last year.
Okay.
So yeah, I put question marks here, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna pick, gonna define a symbol yet. Just want to know. Okay, they don't give me this one, and I want to eventually know. Well, from the previous year to this year, what is the increase? Increase by what? He thinks, or she, the mayor, thinks that it is a 37% increase. Let's just see. So in this case, it is much more straightforward if I just focus on one step at a time. The first step is from the previous year to last year. I have three pieces, three numbers. There's the original, there's the new, and there's the increase. So let's say I'm going to put L in a box for last year. That's going to represent last year's budget, and I'm just going to have the millions in the unit so I don't have to worry about all the zeros. So I can just call the previous year 15. If I don't have this portion here, then I have to have 15, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and so on. Then, if I look at that time window, increase by 25%. So from my base 1 decimal version of 25% up, applied to 15 equals my L. Actually, I'm going to put the L in here now. L with a box. I have decided. I need that as a symbol. I personally decide that, and that's what I'm going to call it. But in this case, I see that, well, there's no rewriting necessary here. Maybe I can flip it around. But I see how to calculate this L right away because it was just in that position, in a convenient position in my mathematical sentence that I don't need to read.
Okay, how do you feel about the calculation over here? I have a very light arrow, but anyway. The 1.25, are you good with that?
Yes, yeah, because it's 25% more
Right, right,
than 100%, which is the 15 million.
right. That's really the
Um,
key, is the how to use the percentage in the calculation.
yeah, but okay, so we can't just add on from that
It's a two-step
12%.
process, right?
Yeah.
So I need to break it up into pieces because the only percentage calculations that I really know are between two numbers. So I have to do the 15 million to the next step, then
Okay.
from that to the following step, based on the information they give me. They
Hmm.
give me each step percentage. And then I can do the big jump once I have that last number and see what is the
Okay, yeah.
percentage if I skip the middle step and just jump 2 years. What is that percentage? That's ultimately what we're trying to find out up here in this question mark.
Yeah, that'd just be the. Oh, okay,
Now
okay.
that's the question. Is it just 25 plus 12? I don't know. Maybe. We're trying to verify that. And in order to verify it, we need to sort of take little steps and see how they merge into this big step.
Hmm. Okay.
All right. Let's continue.
Rewrite it, and I can just calculate it right away. Let's do that. 1.25 times 15. And we get 18.75. 18.75. That's now new information. Now I'm doing a little step 1, 2, and 3 as part of my big question, but this isn't my final answer, so I don't have to worry about a concluding sentence until I'm completely done. Okay. Now I look at the next window, last year versus this year. And it's going to be very similar. I might want to say, let's call T in a box. Let that represent this year's budget in millions. Then I have an increase of 12% from the number that I know is last year's budget. Hopefully I calculated that correctly because I now do depend on that. 18.75 increased by 12% to get me what I called T in a box. I can call it whatever I want. Okay, so let's write the translation of this. 1.12 applied to 18.75 is going to give me this year's budget. And again, I look at it. The sentence doesn't need any rewriting. It tells me already what to do to calculate that T symbol. I'll just do it. 1.12 times 18.75. Yes, type that in right. And I get, 21. Wow, that's nice. Clean. So I have a little step 1, 2, and 3 there as well. But that wasn't the final answer that they're looking for either. I just need that. I decided I need this. It is 21 million, of course. Million, of course. $sign if you want to be very precise. Okay. So now I can look. Okay, I needed to fill in these years, I felt, to figure out what is the actual increase from the 15 million to the 21 million. That's actually, I'm trying to figure out, is it 37? I just add these percentages. Well, in order for me to be sure, I need to see those numbers because my unknown sits in the percentage. Now, I don't need to define that necessarily because I just want to see what is the percentage this year to the previous year. So I don't have to define symbols every single time. It depends on the situation. It depends on how easy the situation is. Let's say the percentage for this year, compared to the previous year, if that makes sense, is 21 over, what was the original? 15. Make it a percentage, which is, my writing's terrible today, which is, let's see what it is. 21 divided by 15 times 100. Why do I think I'm going to get a decimal number? I am not. Okay. 140%. This is an increase by 40% and not 37%. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I feel like I just needed to, because in my head, I thought you can definitely just add the two together, but percentages always change depending on the number.
That's the
So,
thing. Percentages are different. It has that cumulative, not cumulative, sort of that rollover effect. Because
Mhm.
let me just go back to the sketch. Uh, because when we talk about the 12%, a part of the 25 is in there because the 12% is applied to this 18.75,
Yeah.
which comes from the 25%. So they're sort of building on each other. There's a compounding effect, and adding them up is essentially saying that they're completely independent of each other, but they're not. The one is building on the previous one's effects.
Oh,
And
were you talking about that in terms of like banking or something? Because I
it
can't
is,
remember hearing you
exactly.
talk about that and I couldn't understand.
Yeah, this compounding effect, like compound interest. You
Hmm.
are 1 year you're getting interest on whatever amount, and the next year's interest gets interest on that previous interest. They're
Yeah.
building on each other, and it's not just adding them up. That's a very independent way of thinking, a separate, having them completely separate, and that's not how they work. They work on top of each other. So in order to really calculate the overall percentage change, you have to do these little bits. Well, okay, you don't have to. There are shortcuts and formulas, but I think it's better if we understand this compounding effect one step at a time, and then we can
Yeah.
easily calculate. Oh, there's the whole thing. We can easily calculate it from start to very end with a simple percentage calculation as well. But
Hmm.
if you really go into this topic, yeah, sure, there are calculations and shortcuts to get this 40%. But I think understanding uh, at this level is more important than the fastest possible calculation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and then there are ratio equations and other equations and all kinds of fun stuff for you to do in time for tomorrow. But I mean, if that doesn't uh, go well time wise, at least you have an idea of what midterm four of quiz four looks like going
Yeah.
into the final. So I don't want to
Yeah.
make quiz four too easy and then make people think, oh, I don't. This section wasn't in quiz four. I'm going to skip that for the final. We can't ask everything,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So just be careful. It's not going to be completely representative of the final exam. There's there's more space in the final exam to ask other questions. But I don't want the quiz to be too easy either, because then people think, oh no, I'm good. I know percentages. Nothing else is going to come up. When there
Right.
are other groups of types of word problems as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. You want to finish. I want to give you your money's worth, right? So put some.
Yeah, I haven't quite looked at how long's the final exam? Like,
I haven't decided, to be honest. I like to think of it as one super quiz,
hmm.
but gluing four quizzes together will be, I don't know, I feel that's a little too long because each quiz technically is sort of an hour long, right? Now,
Yeah.
the final exam is 3 hours, so technically it should be three quizzes. That
Okay.
would
Or
mean
four
like
small
12,
ones.
no, how many questions? That'd be like like 15 questions, 15 pages rather.
Hmm.
So definitely not more than 15 pages.
Okay.
So in terms of material covered, topics covered, all four quizzes. But in terms of actual number of pages, max 15, so that it scales up in time correctly. It's sort of three quizzes worth of time, I'll say, if that
Sounds
makes
doable.
sense. Yeah, I think if, in terms of time, the final exam is always better because there are more questions that you might find easier and you bank a lot of time on that. If you think about, oh, I need to do an average of 10 minutes per page, which is pretty standard,
Hmm.
but there are way more pages. So you have way more opportunity to, let's say, take 5 minutes on a page and save more of those 5 minute extra time for the difficult pages. Whereas if you're talking about a quiz with 5 pages, maybe two of them are easy and you save time on them, you don't have as much time saving opportunity. Whereas
Right.
a longer test, you have more opportunity to save time. So overall, you're actually gaining time on average. So it's actually not that time. I mean, it's not fun to sit there for 3 hours, sure, but it's not as pressed for time as a quiz may be, in my experience.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
still
I
open
found I've
book
had
and
time to look
everything. So
over.
if you bank enough time, you could watch a video that matches a question. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
But still, it's a lot of topics. It's a lot of things to cover. But that's part of the experience, right? Yeah. Don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
But
no,
in
sounds
terms
good.
of the final exam, we certainly have. What day is it? It's Tuesday. We certainly have still Thursday and Friday to sort of get ready for that and ask questions, and yeah,
Mhm.
should be okay.
No, I find your videos are actually like really, really effective.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I don't know. I don't know how many people are watching these. Not everyone's watching them. I don't know what some people are doing, but they know what they're doing, I guess.
Yeah, I'll watch like pretty much all of them before like the quizzes usually.
Yeah, I think especially with these word problems and the different types,
Mhm.
I don't mean to sound full of myself, but I would definitely not skip. Anything that was said in the video is going to be important either in the for the quiz or the final. I
Yeah.
don't know which one, but uh, yeah, definitely the end word problems as well. Hint, hint.
Okay.
But I don't know which one. Somewhere, a quiz or a final.
Yeah.
Definitely, people that skip any of these word problem videos, it's gonna come back to hurt them.
Mhm.
But they take time, right? I mean, it's hour-long videos, so they do take time to work through for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it'll
Secret's
be
also bad.
worth it. Yeah.
Anyways, okay, I think I'm gonna head out here. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. Hope the rest of your studying goes well.
Thanks. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good day.